Hey, welcome back. Hope you guys are enjoying our show. We would like to let you guys know to definitely don't forget to subscribe, like, follow us, and also send us your messages of shows or anything you would like to know about hair or anything you want to know about me and Barbara.
Absolutely. You can email us at justhearmeoutpodcast@gmail.com. And just so you know, guys, Demetra is a wealth of knowledge. She has the class of a Kennedy and the mouth of a trucker.
Oh my God, I love it. Yes, girl. Amen.
Amen. All right. So today we thought we would talk about working in a salon environment versus a suite rental situation, which is what Demetra and I do now. So, there's a whole lot of, I don't even know quite where to start. So, let's talk about the pros of working in a regular salon. So, I would say it is kind of nice to be able to go in and just have all your bookings all set up for you and do your work and just go home and not think about it.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, there's something really nice about that. You have a front desk, they answer the phone. If you have a price increase or price adjustment, the front desk handles it for you. You kind of don't have to deal with it. You're basically just the artist that you are behind that chair. That's it.
Yes. Yes. And I think a lot of places, I mean, certainly everywhere I've worked has been 100% commission. How about you, Demetra?
Yes, I've always done 100% commission as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are things you're like obligated to do, like showing up between certain hours and but you're not actually getting paid hourly for anything. You're just making the percentage of what you're charging based on what the salon owner has arranged.
Right. I also both of the big places that I had worked at also wasn't just commission, they took service fees as well. And
Oh,
do you
yeah.
remember that? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if yours did as well, but what that entails is that helps pay for any assistants that you have, shampoo people, people that clean the front desk. That helps pay towards all of that. So, let's say your commission is 50-50. They also took, let's say, a range from $5 to $15 on top of that to also
Yeah.
cover cost of, like, I believe the colorist had a little bit of a higher service fee than stylists, because
Yes.
stylists, we were responsible for our own product, our own brushes, our own tools. So you had to pay for all that on your own. So I believe like mine, when I started, we're talking 25 years ago, it was probably a $5 service fee. And at the time, the colorist probably had like an $8 service fee, and that's
Mhm.
taken out per every client that you would do. Um, and then you would get your commission actually after that.
Exactly. So we called it a head charge.
Hmm.
And I remember when it was a uh, percentage. So like it was a steady number if you're a hair cutter, but it's varied on the color process you do if you're a colorist.
Hmm.
So um I think when I first started, it was like 10% head charge, and then that is supposed to pay for color and assistance, and then
It's okay.
and then say you make um, 30, 40, or 50% of the remainder of what you're actually charging, or the salon is
Wow. So
charging for you.
so they did it based on an actual percentage amount per person.
Yes. So it would be
Okay.
10% if you were a hair cutter charging $100 every single haircut, then 10% would be $10. But you know what
Right.
I'm saying? So if you did a hair color process that was $200, it would be 20 right off the top.
Right. Well, for that, then they should have just included in your total like percentage.
Yeah, I always thought it was like just a little, I mean, I know it's not these people weren't doing anything totally out of the norm,
Right.
but at one point I remember it went like 15%, 18%, and it's like it would make more sense to me if you would just because when they take it off the top, basically whatever, if my percentage is 50%, but it's 15% head charge, I'm making um 7.5% less than 50%.
Right.
That
Because
makes sense.
basically, yeah, because it's supposedly 50% plus 15% per client. Now the house is getting 65%. You're basically only making 35% of that service.
Well, when you take the head charge off before
Mm-hmm.
the remainder, you know what I'm saying? So if you charge $100 for a color,
Mm-hmm.
$15 goes off the top, and then I get half of what's left.
Got it. Okay. So
So
you would be getting
essentially,
half of that $85.
yes. So I'm just saying, like, the same number you would get to by
Mm-hmm.
calling it 7.5% less of
Okay.
whatever
Gotcha. I hear
percentage.
what you're saying. Sure. Okay.
Anyway, I'm a math nerd, sort of.
Oh, I am too. But yeah, I don't know why I didn't catch on to that one. That one wasn't making sense to me. I don't know.
Well, it's confusing. It's really confusing, and you have to, like, understand how what your numbers are.
Well, because there is a difference, right? If we're just going to make it very easy. Let's say it's $100 for the service. Let's say you're getting 50%, the house gets 50%, and there's like a $10 fee. Okay. If per se, $100, they take off the $10 first. Now it's $90. You're getting 50% on the 90, you're making 45 on that, right?
Correct.
But if you get 50% first, you're making $50. Then they take $10 after that. Now you're making 40. So it
Right.
depends. So now there's a $5 difference. If you're doing 40 clients in a week, that's a $200 shy out of your pocket. That comes out to $800 less a month. So it really depends, people. It may all sound the same, but be aware if you're working for a commission salon, note if it's being taken before or after that actual split. I think that's
Exactly.
important to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't have a whole lot of, control over your finances, and,
Hmm.
depending on the salon owner, you might have, a lot or maybe a little say in what you're charging even. They might say no to raising the prices, or they might say you have to and you don't want to.
Hmm.
That's a whole other episode, but, you know, that's
Right.
kind of
And your
the other
time,
side.
like you said, right? Like if you're scheduled to work 9 to 5 or 10 to 7, whatever it is, you have to really stick to that schedule. And if the salon is only open, let's say Tuesday through Saturday, then you have to work Tuesday through Saturday. There's a
Yeah,
very little, leeway on when you can come in. And if you don't have clients, you can't just leave early for the day. They expect you, even though it's still commission and you're not getting paid hourly, even if you don't have any clients, let's say you're done at 2 o'clock, but you're scheduled to stay to 6 p.m. I don't know about for you, Barbara, but the places that I worked at, you had to stay up until an hour before your time. So if I had to work till 5 p.m. and I had no clients, I was done at 1, I had to at least stay till 4 o'clock just in case there was a walk in.
mm,
Right. And I still want to get paid for those 3 hours. No one in your chair, you don't get paid,
exactly.
So it's kind of, I don't know how they kind of get away with it legally because you're still, I mean, for me, I was receiving a W-2, not a 1099. Right. But
Yeah.
again, these are all different. This can be a different episode, but, um, going back to comparing suites versus, working for someone else. Right.
Yes. So it's really, really nice to me at this point in my life, because I'm like in my mid 40s now, to have total control over my schedule. Because if I happen to be done at 2 o'clock, I certainly want to leave at 2 o'clock. Um,
Absolutely.
and I'm sure you can relate to me, Char. My places were exactly the same. And if once a month I didn't have somebody booked for like the end of my day and I wanted to go home and for them to say no, it's kind of like a slap in the face. But, they have a lot of other concerns like trying to make it fair for everybody. But, as far as how I feel about it, um, it was not cool.
No, no, it wasn't. And again, when you work for someone, you have someone that's cleaning up for you, doing things for you. It's really nice. I have to admit, I was really spoiled at all the places I worked at. Once I stopped my apprenticeship, we had people that would pick up our lunches. They would take care of everything. All I had to do is
Hmm.
be behind the chair. Like I said, literally, that's all I had to really worry about and have my game on. Now, as a suite owner, it does come with a lot more responsibility. Besides cleaning your own room after every client, laundry, ordering your products, bookkeeping, client scheduling. Um, besides having to also be behind the chair. Now you're playing the role of a lot more hats here, right?
Yes. I will say the places I've worked, they have expected you to help and fill in with the assistant duties if you are not booked, even though you're not getting paid for it, which was always a little bit of a bone of contention with people. So, having a salon suite isn't that different to me where, if your client is processing and you are going to go fold towels, to me it's not that different.
Yeah, okay, yeah, for me, I didn't have to do any of that. I would help if I wanted to. If I saw, someone up there folding towels, I'd go. I would sit with the girls and fold towels, talk to them, if I wanted to, but it wasn't mandatory. Mine was a little different. Like I said, I was a little spoiled, so my service fee definitely came in handy with those little perks
Yeah,
sometimes.
for
But
sure.
being a suite owner too, it's so much better because it's like I come when I want, I leave when I want, make my own schedule. But I also believe that you have to be very disciplined because if you're not, I think it can also set you up or make for failure of succeeding as a suite owner or not because you don't have anyone over your head saying that you have to be here at a certain time or not,
Right. Right.
so
Well, I know what you're saying, and I find that in that vein of trying to be disciplined, if I have a cancellation or I just have like an hour where I don't have anything scheduled, and I don't want to go shopping. I want to like clean the room or do things that I would otherwise have to stay later to do, just so that
hmm.
when I'm done I can go.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like looking through your cabinets, if you have to place, in your case, color orders or keratin orders for me, or, look at my shampoo and conditioner, clean things up. You want to be productive during that time. You're right. Because instead of coming in early or staying late to do those things, now you just take that time. And that's why I also highly recommend that people put themselves on a wait list. Because if something opens up, then you're also not sitting
Yeah,
around.
absolutely.
Very important, people. Put yourself on a wait list. Trust me, things do open up.
Okay, I have a gripe. I just thought of something.
Okay, do it.
So, if you have a salon owner who requires a lot of help from assistants, and say you're paying a head charge, but you still have to wash and blow dry your own people.
Mm,
That happened a lot over the years.
really?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Not
just gotta
cool.
say, and that's the kind of thing that leaves people like with a bad taste in their mouth and not being as gung ho about, oh yeah, I have 5 minutes. I'm gonna go fold towels and clean this lawn.
Oh, definitely, of course, because you're paying the service charge and that's what it's there for, but yet you're still having to do the work.
Exactly.
What am I paying the service charge for? There's only so much, right? That the shampoo, conditioner, paying for overhead, they're still getting a big
Yeah.
percentage of your commission that you're bringing in. That
Yeah.
should be allotting to pay for those things as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
anyway, I just think that that's one of the things that could drive people who are really experienced and bring in a lot of finances, like you and me, to leave salons and go to salon suites.
Right.
And I think that's
Definitely.
part of it is like the culture's a little bit there are areas that are unfair.
Oh, definitely.
Not
Absolutely. And
not that life is fair.
right. And not just that, I think also, when you work for a salon, even though you have your clientele and your people that come to you, let's say the days that you're not there, you kind of don't have control over if, let's say you're out of town or you get sick, the front desk will dictate who your client's going to go to. And they do push for the clients to still come in instead of wait for you,
Yeah,
to
because
be
they're
pushed into someone else's chair. And that is taking money away from you. So
Mhm.
that's not a plus for me. That's a minus when you work for somebody. And in the two salons I worked at, both of them, there was different levels of what you got as far as percentage. And a
Mhm.
lot of times what they were told was to give those clients to the lower percentage people because the owner was making more money off
Yeah,
of those people because they weren't as seasoned, right?
exactly.
So now your clients, they're being pushed onto someone else. And
Well, and also what was frustrating to me is I know exactly what you're saying and the same thing with me and not to rag on any of the younger colorists that I worked with, but if someone pays for me once and then they get that same formula that I came up with over and over and over for like half the price, why wouldn't they do that?
Mhm. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's tough, Like, now, did you have to share your formulas that were created by you?
I have always, both places I worked were really adamant about sharing. And I actually didn't like that in the sense that it is sort of like I consider it intellectual property. A lot of us had, um, like we're very old school. This, even before the smartphones. But I would have like a recipe card, um, plastic little thing, and then I have a card for each person. I still do it to this day. And
Mhm.
so sometimes you'll have multiple people with their own box of cards, and then people would like if you're not there and you leave your thing there, people would just go look.
Whew. I
And
don't
then
know. It's like invasion of privacy slash kind of just, oh.
well, and at one point the owner had upgraded to all Mac products, which was amazing. I love Mac. Anyway, but
Me too.
he wanted us to all put our color formulas into the computer in the notes. And I found that um kind of insulting for the reasons I just explained. Oh my but here's the thing, he was, like, such a good mentor and taught me so much, so I'm not trying to be a big complainer here. However, he taught me that it is really important to set yourself apart and to do things that are unique to only you in order to grow your clientele, and, um, so I would do things, like, just a little differently, like, have my extra little tricks and whatnot, if you will. And like, but why would you ask me to write all that down so someone could duplicate it so that you can make money off of it instead of me?
Mm.
So it gets a little dicey. And you know what? I'm about ready to share all my tips. Those are going to be other episodes.
There you go. She's ready to splurge. Okay.
Oh, one other downside. Do you like how I just like said, "Oh, what's good about working in a salon?" And then I was like, "Oh, and listen to this. And listen to this."
I love it. It's great. Yeah, because then you just start
um,
thinking of thing. You're like, wow, this is plus, this is a minus. This is, like if I had to
yeah.
do a pros and cons list, and this is hard for me to say because I'm not sure if it's my age that makes me more tired where I'm at now, right? So I can't figure out if it's age or just because I'm doing so much more physically and mentally as a suite owner, I'm more tired.
Yeah.
Um, Again, I'm also, I've been doing this for 25 years, so I am tired, but I don't know if it's
Mhm.
from age or that or what. But I would say suite all the way. I mean, if it comes down to money, control, lifestyle, I would say suites is a winner for me personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, one other thing that was just like a big fail of working in the salon is when they would have like certain days that you can't take off. Like the bane of my existence is the Christmas Eve day thing. Like
Mm.
where you cannot take off Christmas Eve day. Um and it's like after a decade of working for someone, like that is such a small measure of like respect. And I
Mhm.
even had coworkers who, like, had plans to leave town, and so they knew they couldn't ask, so they just call in sick, but there's
Wow.
nothing to do about it. I mean, it's a little bit asinine to me.
Yeah, we had it more. You were able to take it off, but if too many people started taking advantage of it, then two people, you would have to ask way in advance, as long as half the staff was there. I worked at some pretty big places, so it was always filled. But my biggest thing was the people that really got those days off were people that had kids. And if you didn't have
Oh,
kids, you were kind of expected to stay. So that's where
yeah,
I kind of got screwed a lot because I didn't have kids. And it was like, well, you don't need to take off. We
yeah,
need you to stay. Everyone else is taking off. So I always got kind of like shifted because of that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if I, was like, hey, I really can't be here, I'm going out of town, and I said it in advance, it probably would have been okay. But most of the time it was like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's kinda not fair, and it's hard though, like, you don't wanna ask someone with kids to stay instead of you, but it's like,
Hmm.
is it really necessary? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I have a family too. I want to spend time with loved ones, and
Yeah.
I really think a lot of times, at the time when I was married, I missed out on a lot of family functions with my
Mhm.
ex-husband because a lot of these events were Saturdays, and I wouldn't take time off. I'm like, well, I'm still building. This is when it was
Yeah.
very new, and I'm like, I have to be here. I have to be here. This is how I'm building. And now looking back, I realize, no, I really didn't have to be there. I should have been at these events and with,
Mm.
family at the time. Do you ever
Me too.
see
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was
it's okay.
so afraid of taking time off when I was building, and I wish I could go back and be a little bit less, um, over the top about it. I'm sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, 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 that's okay. It was just like I see a lot of people, sometimes they have like speakers with microphones, they walk around in a park and, they ask people, hey, like what regrets, 3 regrets do you have in life? And, every single person always says, I wish I didn't work so much,
Mhm.
or I wish I didn't, put work before family. I wish I didn't put work before, because at the end of the day, especially when you work for someone else, you are replaceable. I do not care what anyone says. You are replaceable. So,
Absolutely, and like you said earlier, if
mhm,
you are sick or if you have to have carpal tunnel surgery or whatever, they are for sure gonna schedule your people with other stylists.
absolutely. And if you have good clients and loyal, they'll wait. Because usually, like, let's say if it's like you're out 4 to 6 weeks, typically someone doesn't need to come back in for a haircut or color prior to that, maybe give or take, depending. I also had a lot of clients that came in for weekly blow dries, so I would have to recommend them to other people. That was based on a hand surgery I had to have, and I was out for 4 weeks. So I did, refer them to friends, but most of them, when it came to haircuts, I worked extra days before and extra days when I came back to make sure I got those people in.
Mm.
And those were good, loyal clients that waited. But
Yeah,
that's because I have control of my schedule now. When I worked for someone else, it was still very hard to let them know, hey, I'm going to come in more, work a little more because the salon wouldn't give you access to do so. They wanted other people in
yes,
other people's chairs because you got to remember, they want that client to be a client of the salon, not of you.
exactly, that's the bottom line.
That's right. That is the bottom line, their bottom line, not yours.
Yes.
So,
Also, this is a good one.
yeah.
Demetra,
Hmm.
there have been times over the years where I have really wanted to slap somebody. I just mean in life, not at work.
Oh, okay.
Really just, like, fucking slap someone, and I have never done it. I've never hit anybody, mostly because I need my hands to be good all the time.
Wow. You are fucking awesome. That is fabulous. I would have not even have thought of that. But you know what? Actually,
Restraint.
but you know what? That's
Restraint.
okay. That's funny you say that because I mean, I probably want to punch people in the face too, but I never thought of it from that perspective. But what's similar to that is like, I don't go skiing or
Mm,
sledding or do fun things because I am worried. I don't want to break my wrist. I don't want to break my hand. So there is a lot of things I have not done in life, which is, I mean, it wasn't about slapping people in the face, but I have reserved myself from doing activities, worried that I'm a klutz, right? And
yeah.
I get hurt very easily. So for me, yeah, I just won't do certain things because I'm like, I can't take the chance.
Also, a lot of
You miss
hairstylists,
out.
especially when you're building, you can
Hmm.
go I mean, me personally, I went a good decade without health insurance. So I was
Yes.
on top of it really nervous to ever do anything where I could get hurt, like
Hmm.
recreationally, I mean.
Oh yeah, health insurance is very, very expensive, and depending on who you work for, it's not offered.
Right.
And if it is offered, the best is what you get is if you get on a group, you could get pretty good insurance. The last person I worked for offered health insurance, but they don't pay for it. Here's the catch. You still have to pay for it yourself, but you get a better rate because you're on a group plan and you get better
Right.
services, right? Opposed to being an independent. But the plus really goes to the owner because when that money's being taken out, let's say for me, in instance, my health insurance is $550 a month, $225 per paycheck, let's say. The owner doesn't have to pay taxes on that amount. So
Mhm.
towards your social security. So when
Right.
they offer health insurance, it's not like when you work for a Starbucks or these other big companies where they're paying a portion of your health insurance, right? Or they give you some money towards it. There's no benefit to you really other than getting the group and getting a good insurance, right? It's
Yes.
really more of a benefit for the salon owner when they offer. So if you're a salon owner out there, offer your people health insurance, because you're going to get a tax break,
Well, because
give you
and
some, I
also
mean,
you can get when you want really high caliber people, they might not be willing to work somewhere without health insurance. I wanted to add
mm-hmm,
also, I've worked in 2 different places where they offered health insurance, just like you're saying, where it's like a group rate,
mm-hmm.
but every year it's different. Like every calendar year, they may or may not have it. So, like multiple times I've been in jobs where they say, "Oh, remember how we had health insurance? It's just not going to happen anymore."
Yeah, why
But
is
then
that? It's like it worked for a couple years, and then all of a sudden they would come back, be like, "Hey, by the way, we're not gonna have insurance now."
I think it costs them too much. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know I had to pay for mine. We didn't get any kickbacks, so I don't know why they would do that. Maybe it wasn't like a
I don't
benefit for
know.
them that year for taxes or something. Who knows?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
But it's
Something
like,
to look into, maybe.
when I mean, I know health insurance is ridiculous. It's crazy. You kind of have to at this point in time in 2023, people, you kind of need to pick a career for health insurance
Or
or pick a
benefits,
salon for the benefits.
if they have any, because they're not required to,
Right.
have any benefits either. And I know people are like, "Oh, poor you. Well, you chose that career with no benefits," you know? Yes, I did, but yeah,
Well, I feel like half of the hairstylists I know have struggled with insurance dilemma like their whole careers. It's just so frustrating. And the other half are married to someone who can get health insurance and they don't even think about it.
yeah, which is nice.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. It takes a big chunk of your monthly income
Yes.
to be insured.
So, as far as having like renting your own suite and having your own business. So, I would say the downsides are you really do have to set up your own LLC, and just getting everything set up and running to me was really stressful and a lot. But once it was going, it was not that hard and I was so pleased that I had done it.
Yeah, it's true. I felt the same way. Trying to get it done initially was kind of nerve-wracking. Am I doing this correctly? Oh my God, and the renewals of it. But once it gets going, it really does they send you your reminders, you pay your fee, you send it in, you're good. You're good to go. You just have to be on top of it and don't miss any dates.
Yeah.
Just keep your paperwork in order. That's all.
And also, I think it's important to point out if you are a colorist, you are going to need honestly $3,000 to $4,000 worth of inventory because if you want to have enough hair color and variety that no matter what walks in the door, you have the color on hand to deal with it, you really do need quite a bit of product.
Wow. Wow. I didn't even think that much for just like one person, but that does make sense. You're right. You don't know who's coming in, and even if they come in, you don't know what they want. What if they want to change today? And like you said, you got to have that on hand.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to be sitting on.
And there also the dilemma of do you want to sell retail? And if so, you're going to have um, a lot of dollars in inventory.
Yeah, when I started the suites, I did start with having products for sale, and that is something also separate. I believe you have to, wasn't it every month, Barbara, that you have to put in your sales tax? Is it every month or every couple months?
Um, oh gosh, it was every quarter for the first
Okay.
year, and then when they realized that you're not making thousands of dollars in sales tax, then they
Yeah.
say you can just update us every year.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I think my first 2 years when I was selling product, I was just so frustrated. And to me, it just wasn't easy. Every time I would try to do it, I just really couldn't figure it out. That I said, first of all, I'm not sitting on $2,000, $3,000 worth of stuff. Okay, because like you said, you do have to have a certain amount of inventory, even though I was picking and choosing my favorite products that I always used on clients. And then, of course, that would be the stuff I'd want to sell to them because I knew it worked well. But you had to sit on that product. You weren't getting money for it up front. It could take months to get rid of that inventory. And then you're having to worry about making sure you're up to date on your sales tax. I personally didn't want to deal with it. To me, I didn't feel it was worth it. I still tell my clients where to go, what to get. To me, it wasn't, I don't need to sell product for me personally, but it
An
could be a good avenue
episode
for some people.
episode for another day for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And the last thing I wanted to say about the suite rental, um, is that it can be kind of difficult managing your bookings. I find it very worth it for the bonuses that you get, being no one over your head. You can make all the choices. And when it comes to last minute cancellations or no shows, that is really what is like the biggest headache of having a salon suite. And so that is why a lot of us have cancellation policies where you get charged if you don't show up or cancel within a certain number of days or hours. Because if you have, if that spot doesn't fill in, then if you add those up through the year, it is like thousands of dollars if it happens even like twice a week.
Thousands. It's the best thing I ever did was put in place a cancellation policy. I almost hated doing it at first, but honestly, it held people accountable, and then they felt like, no, I do. And then also too, it does take a while to get in with me. So my clients typically don't like to cancel because they know it's going to take, 6 weeks to get in, right? I'm not going to be able to fit them in a week, but it makes a huge difference. Like I think what made me do it in 1 month, I think with cancellations or no shows is $1,500 in
Wow.
1 month. And then I started watching over several months. And then that's what made my decision. I said, okay, I literally just lost $6,000 in under 3 months of no
Whoa.
shows or cancellations. That's why I did it. Um, and I'm happy I did. And I think my clients are happy too,
Yeah. Well, and
because then people aren't wasting those appointment times when they could have gotten in. Someone who was really wanting to come in and have that appointment in that slot.
yeah, the biggest slap in the face is a no-show. Like, I know
Yeah.
sometimes it could just be an accident, like someone just genuinely forgot. But when you've told like 10 different people texting you, "No, I can't fit you in," and then you're standing there by yourself for an hour, it is like beyond frustrating.
Oh, yeah, that makes you feel some type of way, right? You literally are just
Yeah.
like, wow.
So, and
And
that's
then you're
why,
almost wondering, like, is this person looking at me? Did they think I didn't want to get them in? And now they know I'm sitting here just eating like a Frito chip and sipping on some coffee? It's like, wait a minute,
yes.
who's watching me? But
Well, and that
yeah,
that listeners is what can get you fired from somebody like a hairstylist. And I don't mean to like make this a big joke, but it's true. Like if you mess with the finances enough, you're not going to be the right fit for our business.
right. And it's not a personal thing. Just like Barbara said, it's just not the right fit. Again, at the end of the day, you can't mess with people's time, their money. It's also a respect thing. It's not just about, oh, I'm here to make a dollar off of you. It's also the respect of the time of someone that you just cancel and just don't want to show up. It just shows a lack of respect, I think.
Yes. And we are going to have an episode about this at some point. But
Yes.
but yeah, I've fired people that I would really like to hang out with actually. But they're not right for for my work situation, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Totally.
Anyway, all right. Well,
Okay.
we are about out of time for today. So thank you for listening. And next week we are going to talk about hair 101. Super important.
Yes, thank you guys for tuning in. And please, again, don't forget to like us, subscribe, go to your favorite podcast, whether it be Spotify, Apple, Amazon, whatever you choose. Go check us out. We have on Instagram, we have our cute little blooper clips. You could check us out there, the funny stuff.
Oh,
Ooh, ooh.
yes.
Okay.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.